What's going on, motherfoxes? So, like I said, we got the old engine out. There she is. You know, I mean, we're getting too good at this, man, because that took us like 2 hours, I think, in that time-lapse video, if you watched it. It was like 2 hours. I mean, it's just so funny. I mean, I start in one spot, my dad starts in the other. We kind of meet up in the middle. And before we know it, everything's ready and done to be pulled out of the car. So alright, so what we'll do is we'll pull this out of here. We'll get the hoses on detached, keep them with the heater tubes, I guess. Then we'll put the headers off, and then the valve covers, then the intake. Because if you're wondering, what are we going to use off this engine? Everything but the pistons. So water pump, brand new. Harmonic balancer, brand new. Of course, the intake, brand new. These are the 3-bar heads off a genuine 1993 Cobra, found out. Not that it matters much, same damn thing as a friggin' Explorer, but whatever. Of course, I'm gonna use all the oil pump in there. Yes, the oil pump shaft, because I believe that's an ARP. The bearings, I'm gonna use all the bearings. If there's nothing wrong with these bearings, we're gonna use them. And everybody may be going, you're just gonna put the same oil pump in it? Guys, this engine right here has what, 800 miles on it, something like that. It's barely broke in. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, we'll take a look at the bearings. If the bearings look like they're a little bit questionable, I'll buy some new ones. But that crank in there is from the engine that came out of that car originally. They machined that crank to be 10 under, so those are 10 under bearings in there. So if we need them, it should say on the back that they're 10 under. We used RTV on this sucker. See what we can do. Yeah, buddy. Forget this one. There we go. And there is the look at those link bar lifters. Do you see any metal shavings? Anybody? No. So there you go. They just make noise, folks. That's what they do. You don't need to spend all that money. Unless you want to, and you got the disposable income. There you go. But this is all coming out. So this is that intake I bought off eBay, which just, I mean, you look at the surfaces of this thing, it just look immaculate. We were surprised. It sits flat as hell. The only thing is right here, you see that? We had to get in there with a grinder and grind it out because it was taking up too much space here for the distributor. That's it. Other than that, it's set right in. So it's flat as hell. Like I said, you got it off eBay, and you do take that chance. You take the chance of it being warped, because some of them are. Just face it, they are. But we took the chance. No big deal. So take these off. My $100 billet specialty freaking plug wire separators. But I tell you what, man, they may cost way too much money, but I do love these things. Man, do they just clean up Fords, because they got this octopus nest of wire up here, you know. Sure, we got water left always. And we don't have to worry about this gasket because we're not using this timing cover. Yay. Here's a question for you. Do we just leave the headers on? Or is that going to cause a problem for me in the future here? Let's find out. We'll leave them on. So, to take the harmonic balancer bolt out, I learned this trick. Go buy one of these, and usually you don't got to worry about this thing turning. See? That's the lesson for the day, guys. How about that? Because this little guy is cool, but for things like that, you need this dog. Now, this would be Milwaukee too if they weren't almost $500. This is like probably less than half that. Now to get the steering wheel, the harmonic balancer puller. Okay. So as you can see here, I got my steering wheel, my harmonic balancer puller. And we're about to get this off here. Yep, just a couple little adjustments there to get it to come out the rest of the way. This should pop it off now. Boom! There you go. Alright, so we'll pull the timing cover off next. Well, we gotta pull the pan bolts. You know what? I guess we should drain the oil. It's got fresh Rotilla 10W30 in it. So, that was a well spent $15. Alright, let's get these headers off. And just so you know, I was kidding about leaving them on. Try putting a frickin' head on here with a set of headers on without screwing up your gasket. Set the head on there, they're only sitting on dowels. Don't listen to me, I was just kidding. But I will tell you something about the heads. I'll show you these screws here in a second here. But the only thing that sucks about these Chinese headers, and probably Mata headers, you gotta use a wrench, you just can't just, because it's so close. And there's two reasons why I like these bolts, and I'm gonna show you here as soon as I get all these off. But yeah, that's the only drawback. Some of these spots here that we put these on, we actually dented it in so we could, because they wouldn't turn there, because this was in the way. So a couple of them we just took a punch and dented them in. So these are good Chinese $100 headers, $130 or something you can get. They work great. The welds are all pretty good. It's just that's the problem. You just need a small header bolt, and then just need to dent those in a little bit. It ain't gonna hurt anything. Again, like I said, you got to deal with a little bit of adversity here when you got cheap headers that are perfect. I mean, look at the welds on them. Chinese, but they look pretty good. But yeah, like I said, trying to get these out of here. This took me a few minutes to get all these loose. But if you leave the ones that you can get to on the ends, keeping the header on, you can work the middle ones out pretty easy once you get them to a certain point. And if they don't, if they're not going to move like this one, you just gotta move the head and turn it is all. So, but yeah, that's the only drawback to these. Alright, this is why I like these bolts, okay? They got a small head. There's some that are smaller, but look at this. See those little things there? Those are self-lockers. So you screw them in and they lock. It's not like them stupid Stage 8 bolts, which I bought, by the way. I fell for it. Put them on my other car, and you have to tighten them up and then slide that little clip over the head. Them things are stupid. So whoever invented these looked at that and went, that's dumb, and then made this. And I know people are gonna go, well, you just get ARP bolts, and then after you put them on, go through a heat cycle and then tighten them up, blah blah blah. Buy these, screw them in, they lock, you walk away. Never have them come loose on me. So here we go. There's the Scorps, bud. Look at that. This is so fresh. There's the assembly lube from the head bolts. Are we going to reuse those head bolts? Yes, we are. I think we'll be fine. They were brand new when we put them in. So I think they got one more stretch in them. Okay. But look at this, man. Nothing looks bad. You know, link bar lifters going to tear up your engine. There's not any shred of metal anywhere to be found in here. If it is, it's down below. That's because of the rings, which we showed you when we changed the oil. Yeah, fresh oil that's in there. But yeah, there you go. And these are, like I said, these are, got these from Justin. These are from a genuine 93. I was reading the serial number off to Ford Blue Gauge, and before I could even get done telling him the number, he's like, those are off a 93 Cobra, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, okay. So, and it's, like I said, it's no different than Explorers, but it's kind of cool that they're from a 93 Cobra. And Justin, when he had these, he had them pocket ported. He, I believe, had the heads decked, and these are Beehive springs that are in this sucker. So these are a little, you know, not your average regular, you know, GT40s, but there's a little stuff done to them, not much. These off here and probably start draining the oil, and we'll take the heads off maybe another day. I'm just kind of out here chipping away at it day by day. But yeah, definitely, I don't want to pour the oil out of this. It's freaking new, dude. Oh man. Oh well, what are you gonna do? And here you go. I don't even know if it's important, driver, passenger side. I think it is. So I just put a big old D on that freaking motor mount so I know it's the driver's side. I ain't too proud, you know. Well, I'm proud I put the D on there. Put it that way. Probably says on the back which side it is. Well, guess it doesn't. They give it to you to figure out. And they could be interchangeable. I have no idea. Just, you know what? It came off there. It's going back on there. So here's something I think you get a kick out of. So I'm pulling the passenger side mount off, and I decided to write a P on it, even though I didn't need to. But then I decided that it probably almost looked like a D, so then I made sure it was a P. The more you know. I figured, why not show you the moment this beautiful oil hits the pan. I didn't even drive it that far on that oil. And there she goes. Gonna have a pan available. Anybody interested? Alright, we're gonna take this oil pan off. I know some people are curious to see what's going on in those cylinders. I gave you a sneak peek when we changed the gasket, so I'll get back to you when you get this thing pulled off. And by the way, for all you noobs out there who are, you know, taking things apart, it's a good idea, even though you emptied the oil out of this thing, to take it off like this, because as soon as you flip it over, whatever oil's left in here is gonna go on the floor. So pull it off like this. That's why I'm doing that. What are little things I've learned from taking these engines apart. Alright, Folkly Dokleys. You see the dry spots on here? I mean, some of this stuff is basically from me grabbing it when I took it off. Like right up in here. Of course, that part of the gasket was wet. Just so you know. And see this right here? See how dry it is? Most importantly, here's the front of it. See how the front edge of this is dry? Now, you think that looks like that on the back? Hell no. Look at all that. It's all wet everywhere. It is wet all the way through there, dude. Yeah, interesting. Very interesting. It's all wet in here and dry down there. That's the other thing I just noticed. See this? See how this is one piece? And this is one piece? See that? I just noticed this while I was talking to you guys. Look at this. This is what was going on. Look at this. See that? Look right here. What the hell? Are those supposed to have cuts in it like that? What the hell? I never noticed that. Want to hear some compression? Don't tell me this engine didn't have compression. Listen to that sucker. But I'm just trying to get these rockers down so I can start pulling them off here. Alright, with that, I think I'm going to end this video here because I think it's getting a little too long. To end this out with that oil pan, I don't really, I don't want to say I didn't notice those little holes on there. I did. I think the reason my attention got taken away from it when I pulled the pan off and seen how the gasket was just completely not fitting. And to me, that was the obvious thing that was going on there of why it was leaking. But looking at the back of that pan, I'm going to get you some close-up shots here of that, and I'll put it up here while I'm talking. But what, I mean, you see that? It's not like, I don't know what to say about that. It's weird because it's, you would notice if somebody was trying to cut that, you know what I mean? It'd be jaggedy. It looks like it was part of the pan. So that's what's got me just confused on that. Why is that there? And then it's not like somebody drilled it either with a drill because it's oblong. But it's neat and clean and confusing me. Okay? I noticed those little cutouts. I didn't think they were going to be an issue because of, you know, the gasketing that was around it. But like I said, when you pull the pan off and the gasket's totally not fitting on there, you'd think, okay, well, there's the reason why it's leaking. But apparently it was them holes. I'm totally lost on that thing. So anyway, we got another pan. It's not gonna leak. Where's the wood? I'll go knock on some wood here in a minute. Thanks for watching. Mystery solved on that thing. But the next video, the meat and potatoes, we're gonna get the heads off. We're gonna get the pistons out. We're gonna get the crank out. And I have faith that those bearings are good. If not, I set myself back until I get new ones. But I think I'm gonna make sure I keep them where they're at on that crank if they all look good. So I'll probably write some numbers on them. Anyway, guys, thanks. Later.